Okay, three, two,
One.
one.
We're recording.
Hi,
Hi, Karen.
we're live. Hi, Dale Ann. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be back again with you.
And who are we?
Well, we better say that, huh?
Yes.
Well, we are two unstoppable
Unstoppable
men.
Nanas. Right.
And let me introduce you to my partner, Dale Ann.
And my partner, Karen.
Okay, we represent California for Dale Ann and Phoenix, Arizona for Karen. But we don't care who you call. Whenever you need to call, just pick a number.
Exactly.
Um, we are continuing. We're not quite through with the law of attraction, but we've been living it, which is nice about that's the goal in between sessions is that you apply what we're talking about into your daily life. And we really want to emphasize inviting you to use our email address. twounstoppablenanas@gmail.com, because if anything comes up in between these videos, please don't hesitate to contact us, ask a question, or say something like, you know what, this isn't working for me. Because myself, I started working on this a while back, a couple years ago, and I have to say it was very unfamiliar and strange for me because I didn't grow up with this concept. I grew up with just the opposite. So it's a learning curve, and we're here to help.
Definitely. So do you want to read the definition, Karen?
Yes, go to page 12 if you have your books handy. And the definition, what we focus on is I attract to my life whatever I give my attention, energy, and focus to, positive or negative. So remember, guys, if you're having a bad day and you catch yourself thinking about the negative or what's going wrong, you're just going to be inviting that for the rest of your day. You can even put family members in charge of that. My husband and I constantly remind ourselves. And I just say negativity, or I start walking away and he realizes he's complaining, and we both work on this together. And makes for progress.
Oh, definitely.
So we have covered a lot of there's 3 steps to doing this and lots of tools in between, as you know. So we covered identifying your desire and giving it attention by changing the wording of what you're desiring. Like, for instance, if it doesn't seem real or you're having trouble believing it, then you can always slip in, I'm in the process of balancing the budget, experiencing abundance in my life, liking this beautiful new body I'm creating through weight loss. And if that, if it doesn't, just work on it. Just keep working on it. Trust the process because it does work. And just hang in there with us. But today's topic is not so much those 2 things, but really allowing the goodness to come into your life and experiencing it and noticing it. I like to think of it as abundance. And I don't know, were you raised that way, Dale Ann, to just always notice what's going on well around you when you were little? And how did you start making the transformation? Or were you born that way?
No, I wasn't born that way, but I'm a very optimistic person. So ever since I was little, I always had hope, and I always knew that there's always a better way. So in our family, there were 4 siblings, and my mom and dad. My dad worked. My mom didn't at that time because I'm a product of the 50s. My mom didn't start working until I was 12. And even though she didn't work, I was sort of the mother hen of the kids because I was the oldest one. So we always had just enough in our family. We were the biggest family of all the aunts and uncles. My mother came from a family of 8, but she had the most children. She had 4. Everybody either had 3 or 2 or just 1. So I don't want to say we struggled. We didn't really struggle. My parents we always had enough to go around. My mother made all of our clothes because I have 3.
Wow.
I I have three sisters. I'm the eldest. Then I have my brother who passed away, and then I have two sisters. And when we were growing up, my mother made all of our clothes. She even tried, we went to Catholic school, and she even tried to make our uniforms.
Oh my goodness.
She made my first Holy Communion dress. She made my sister's first Holy Communion dresses. And she even made my dad's shirts that he used for work. So my mother was extremely talented. So the money that we had, she made it last.
Thrifty.
I can say that I had truly had a very fulfilled childhood. My parents, my mother in particular, was extremely strict. My dad was the total opposite. He was extremely lively, always telling us, don't worry about it because you can't do anything about it until it happens anyway, so why worry about it? And in many ways, that's the way I look at life. There's no sense in worrying about spilled milk if it hasn't spilled yet. So that was my childhood.
That's great. That you were very optimistic at an early age. That's wonderful. And now I understand where some of your frugality comes. Wow.
What about you?
Well, I didn't know we were going into family history, but I guess okay. I need to share. And you know what? It probably does help our listeners if we do more family history because they might reach out and interact with us most, or we might be helping someone. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take a little risk here. I'm going to share something from my past, but not in detail. I've been thinking about starting this in some videos just to reach out and help people because I have a lot of fear about having enough money, and I've always in my life not had enough or couldn't find the ways to have more because I lived in fear. So I'm going to share something personal here. I came from a smaller family, just one sister, and she's 5 years older. And as she tells it, she didn't even know my mom was pregnant. So when mom came home from the hospital with me, she was really upset. And so we didn't have a great relationship until we became adults. But my mom was also very frugal. She didn't make our clothes, but she made things like the curtains and bedspreads, and we didn't have many clothes. My clothes were my sister's hand-me-downs. But I'm just going to share briefly. We don't have to get into it. But the real reason why I lived with so much fear, and I'm able to take this reason and revisit my values and make my changes based on this. I come from a family of some serious alcoholism. And that goes back to grandparents and lots of aunts and uncles. So I didn't have that security of a great childhood. I did feel safer when I went to Catholic school because they had more rules and I had supervision and I knew my boundaries. At home, as a very young child, I was in charge of the home, even at age 7, doing all the laundry, cooking, washing windows, cutting the front and the back yard. So through this study we're doing and another program I'm in, which I'll tell you about another time, I'm learning how to change my thinking about money. That's why I like Greg so much, because he's trying to have a healthy relationship with money. I've never had one because I lived in fear. And if we ran out of money, it was because Dad would hit the bars before he came home with a paycheck, and Mom would get really nervous. So I kind of took over a lot of responsibility at home when I was a young child. And I've forgiven my parents long ago. I'm able to put the pieces together now and undo much of what I learned. So abundance, the word was never used in my home, and I never really experienced it. I remember when I was going through 8th grade graduation and I was expected to wear my sister's hand-me-down, which did not fit at all, I decided I'd be making a lot of my own money to be able to buy my dress for my graduation. In fact, when I was 10, I had this, I think I might have told you, Dalen, I had a jewelry box with a hidden compartment, and to feel safe when I did my babysitting, I'd always hide my cash there. Nobody knew it was there but myself, because I bought it for myself. And so to feel safe, I always had $40, $50 in there, and I never told anybody. And if I had to use it, I'd put it back. I wish I could do that now with all of our medical expenses. I'm having a hard time being able to do that now, but at least the foundation was there. So this abundance thing, I used to laugh at people talking about abundance. And I've been really working it hard and experiencing great abundance, especially since we started this series. So I'm so grateful to you, Dale Ann, for letting this be our first book choice, because I feel myself growing by leaps and bounds, because now I notice it everywhere. And I didn't last year, 2 years ago, certainly not 5, 10 years. And as a child, I never felt the abundance, except, if you had a birthday and you got presents,
Right.
But I didn't know that was what abundance is. And so this has just been an eye-opening experience. And I mentioned that little bit about my past in case there's even one person listening who grew up the same way I did. Maybe you can just take a deep breath and hang in there and realize that there is always hope to turn your thinking around. And when you change what you put in between those 6 inches of your ears, some really beautiful things happen. So I didn't plan to say any of that. See what you started?
Well, we're going to start now with step number 3. And the step number 3 is to allow it. All the things that we've talked about in the last few chapters, this is where we have to allow ourselves to be able to receive whatever God has in store for us. And I'm on page 73, so when you open up your book, if you go down to the very bottom, I think this sentence says it all. In other words, having strong desire, the positive vibe, and having strong doubt, the negative vibe, cancel out each other. Therefore, allowing occurs in the absence of doubt. And I can talk to this regarding the car or anything else that I've gone for in the past. But since I've been married to my husband, I've spoken about the Tesla before, which I had on my vision board. And we were tugging at each other because I truly believe in the book. I truly believe in you have to have people on the same page. You have to have your family members on the same page. And when I told him, that, don't worry about getting the Tesla because we're getting it, but you have to be on the same page as me, because his vibrations were, they weren't negative, but they were no. My vibrations were, we're getting it and it's yes. So I had to talk to him about getting on the same page, and what that meant for him was he needed to be aware of what the car was all about. I didn't care what the car was all about. All I cared about was that it was an electric car. That meant that we didn't have to buy gasoline anymore. And I had no idea all of the benefits that came with the car at that time. Lower electric bill. On our income tax, we were given a discount. All these things I didn't even know about. All I knew was that I wanted the electric car to save on gas and to save on maintenance. So once I got him on board, there was no more vibrations of negative vibrations and positive vibrations. Everything was on one course. And once we were together on that course, it all came to pass. So the negative and the positive vibrations, you may not understand it, but it's very, very important.
Yeah, it's just important to accept the fact that you cannot entertain both in the same space. They're energy. So if you're battling with both of them at once, you're just sabotaging yourself. So what I heard you say, Dale Ann, is that he had the doubts, and rather than focusing on the doubts, he focused on the solution, and for him was to do the research until he was ready to learn and then embrace how good a choice it is, and then he could allow it to happen in his life.
It's true. And even if you're just by yourself and you have things that you want, you can't allow that doubt in. You have to really be open to positivity, be optimistic. And I know that's me 100%. And I know there's so many people out there that have a lot of doubt. But like my dad used to say when I was a little girl, and I think this is why I don't have a lot of doubt, is because he said, don't worry about it until it happens.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Right.
So
you're wasting energy.
exactly.
Deal with the facts. If it didn't happen, because we're projecting into the future, thinking about something that may never happen at all, using up all that energy that we can have for the solution. But I mean, let's face it, we're all human, and it's pretty hard to not have any doubts 7 days a week. So what Michael Losier talks about in the book is that just be prepared that when you're going to allow the doubt to come in, it's just going to take you longer. It's directly related, the speed of how the speed of the abundance coming into your life is directly related to how you allow it to come in. So if you're really feeling negative or you're questioning all this, why not get an accountability partner like my husband and I use each other, and we point out to each other, okay, you're being negative now, or oops, I hear doubt. We're not going to get to abundance if you're going to be constantly expressing yes but look at this side, and we're doing really well at climbing out of it, but it may take a partner.
When I was I still am in Mary Kay, but when I was going to meetings, we would have a saying that we leave all the butts at the door. That's
a good one.
There could be no negativity in our room. If you didn't have anything good to say, then just don't say it.
Well, another thing we do, because I'm sure, if you're married, you know that each person gets tired of hearing the other person's voice. So we just go like this. And then it's a cue to the other to stop and, back up and retrace. Here's a good visual, Dale, Ann and I were looking at page 78 that kind of addresses this. It's called the Tower of Allowing, and there's like a cylinder in there with, I don't know, I think of them, jelly beans, M&Ms, I don't care what you call them. But the first one is talking about the strong desire.
I'm going to hold it up. I don't know if you can see it. But
yeah, that's a good idea. You hold it up and I'll talk about it. Having the strong desire with strong doubt is like these round things, I like to think of them as M&Ms, are never going to get down to the bottom plate because you're just impacting with doubt. So as you grow and develop, you're going to get into the middle graphic, where you may still have some doubt, but you've removed some of it. See the little toothpicks on the table, and that means you get your M&Ms, at least some of them. And then the goal, of course, is to learn how to remove as much doubt as possible, and voila, mission accomplished, you reach your goal. So that's the dream for all of us. Are we going to get there all at the same time in 1 or 2 days? Absolutely not.
No.
I know people who are a lot older than I am, and they're not even able to grasp any of these concepts because all they do is focus on what's gone wrong, and that's all they talk about. So we're here to help you take a look at the other side.
This is a very large chapter that we're doing right now. So, and this will be like part 1. And then next week we'll go into the second part. And our time is already close to the 20-minute allowed.
Oh, boy.
I know, it goes by so fast.
Probably not long enough for my story. I'll have to save it. But I would like to just mention, I can do this quickly. How will you know, how will we know when we're allowing more abundance? There's 2 ways, okay? First of all, you're just going to have this sense of relief. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better because you've been able to notice, oh, I got a gift card. That's abundance. Oh, I have 5 friends calling me this week. It means my personal relationships are improving. That's abundance. Hey, I'm not in the hospital. My health must be better than it was last year. That's abundance. And it goes on and on. So you'll feel better. And then if that isn't working, the second way is to just start making a list. Maybe between now and our next video, you can look around at the end of the day, take a survey of your day and write down 2 or 3 things that went well. You get to the bottom of that list after a week, and, you know, smack me in the face if you don't feel some kind of abundance, because it really does work. And I have a beautiful story to share next time, but it's longer than 1 minute, so or maybe I'll do it on a FaceTime Live, I don't know. But
and then those things that you're abundant for, you can also then start to be grateful for them. And that's very important, to be grateful for everything that you're given.
Yeah, when you talk about gratitude and you feel it, everything gets better.
It really does.
Okay.
Well, did you want us to tell them anything about our website or how they can get a hold of us?
Please do visit our website as often as you can. It's
www.
Yeah, you got to do that. You won't get there if you just do number 2. And it is a number 2, not the word. Number 2, unstoppablenanas.com. And there's a home page, and then there's a little place to click for videos, and we're putting all of them, we're archiving them there for you. So you can, I just reviewed last week's about an hour ago, and you know, it was good for me to do that. You can go through all of them. You can go through some of them, share them with your family or friends. If you don't change your thinking, then the things around you that you do not really appreciate are never going to change. So jump on the bandwagon with us.
And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it never will change. So today's the day to make one new change in your life.
Just one.
Just one. Okay, Karen, well, I guess I'll sign us off, and we will talk to everybody in the next video.
Okay, timekeeper, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.